The much delayed Grand Egyptian Museum is finally open, and well worth the wait. The new Giza attraction may be several years overdue, but there will never be a better reason to book your next holiday to Egypt. There's nothing about the Grand Egyptian Museum (GEM) which does not scream big. Its mighty size is apparent long before you set foot in the cathedral, like entrance hall, the sheer height of the building, obvious as you drive along its elongated perimeter. It is increasingly clear, too, as you approach the wall of ticket barriers, with its scrum of guards and security staff as you stride across the vast plaza which spread out in front of the structure, the sun bouncing off the flagstones, and it is confirmed as you slip into the giant astrum. To be welcomed by a gargantuous statue of Ramses II, cut from red granite. Actually, welcomed is probably the wrong word to use in relation to the most feeble pharaoh of the New Kingdom. Ramses II was not a man who extended much of a warm greeting to those who knelt at his feet. And during an anxious reign that endured for almost 7 decades, that is 1279 to 1213 BC, there were many who found his presence discomfiting. Nonetheless, if Egypt was going to position any of its former kings at the door of its new jubilees, the state of the Art Giza Museum devoted to its epic history, Ramses II was the only choice. In rising to 36 feet, that is 11 meters, in this particular case, he performed the role admirably. The statue is the starkest illustration of the scale of an institution that, with astonishing 490,000 square meters, that is 5,300,000 square feet, of floor space to place with, has been hailed as the largest archaeological museum on the planet. In spite of its considerable height, this Ramses II is in no danger of bashing his head on the entrance or distant ceiling. But it is also a reminder of the Grand Egyptian Museum's lateness. The statue was initially uncovered in the ruins of Memphis in 1882. By the turn of the millennium, it was in dire need of a second rescue. Having been plunked unceremoniously next to Cairo main railway station in 1955 and left to tarnish amid an ocean of exhaust fumes. However, if the plan to relocate it to the long-promised new showcase for the country's ancient story was a commendable one, it only emphasized the delay. Ramses made a 14-mile journey to his latest home in 2018, only to be kept waiting as the rest of the museum failed to fall into place around him. It would take another 6 years. His soft launch was announced last October for the surrounding galleries to open to the public. It is a fair assumption that the man himself wouldn't have taken kindly to such a hold-up. Officially, the statue will have to wait a bit longer for admirers. In theory, the Grand Egyptian Museum is still not open, in that it is yet to stage the sort of formal inauguration ceremony which involve presidents and speeches and what will be the highlight of the collection, the artifacts found in the tomb of Tutankhamun are yet to be taken from their long-time home. The original Egyptian museum on Cairo Tahrir Square. But make no mistake, the Grand Egyptian Museum is unshuttered and accessible, especially if we have a guide to show you its treasures. In my case, Amani Shafi is the ideator companion, a Cairo-based expert who ushered me around the complex with both a precise attention to detail and a smiley enthusiasm for her subject. We have the whole story of ancient Egypt here, she says, from prehistory to the Greek and Roman kings. It quickly becomes evident that for all its failure to keep to the schedule, the Grand Egyptian Museum has thoroughly worth the wait, even with Tutankhamun's ongoing absence. 12 galleries arranged in historical order take the visitor on a ride from 7000 BC through to the 4th century AD. The journey begins with a grand staircase, well named. This is as much as a series of plinths for the display of marriage wonders, as steps to the upper floors. Effigies of many of the stars of the pharaonic pantheon are here, including Thutmose III, the Titan of the 18th dynasty, as well as the Hatshepsut, the formidable queen, with whom he shared the crown for 21 years. Amenhotep III, the grandfather of Tutankhamun, who ruled within 1388 and 1351 BC, often refers to as the Magnificent, stand proud, as does his son, Akhenaten, the boy king's father, was abandoned of Egypt's god for a single deity, who later says reign around 1351 to 1334 BC. Decree as heretical. Ramses II appeared again, of course, this time in close conjunction with Anat, the goddess of war, carved as a literal power behind his throne, as you can see in the picture. The Grand Egyptian Museum is not, though, merely a case of playing the greatest hit. The 12 galleries shine light on less illuminated figures. Gallery 6 recall Kenenefeget II, a queen of the 12th dynasty, whose jewelry colors of blue fins and precious stones. Talk of her elegance some 4,000 years after her death, that is in 1879 BC. Gallery 7 shared the social trend of the 13th century BC, in curiously sweet funerary status of non-royal couples. The wife's hand always on her husband's shoulder. Gallery 11 flashes forward to 358 BC and the rise of Nectanebo II, the final native Egyptian pharaoh, who was deposed by the Persian invasion of his country in 342 BC. We sever the bloodline. The last true pharaoh, Amenhotep, surveying his statue. The Ptolemaic pharaoh were not considered divine. But the most Roman moment belongs to Gallery 2, where an alabaster casket preserves the memory and internal organ of Queen Etephres I, who lived in around 2600 BC. Outside, through the panoramic window designed to frame his glory, the Great Pyramid shimmers in the haze. It was built for Etephres' beloved son, Khufu, whose body may still lie within it. Almost 5 millennia separate this royal family from the present day, but here, now, they are kept apart by little more than a mile. This is just a little about the new development on Grand Egyptian Museum that was just opened.